Okay, this is going to be a exercise just to help you find the action of the hip hinge. And one of the things that seems to be confusing to people is that the butt itself is supposed to travel back whenever you hinge forward. And this is going to be a way to kind of feel it in action. And because of the angle of the camera, I'm not going to be able to show my full body. So I first want to just show what I look like standing, because the feet are important. It just really helps get everything in place. So big toes touch and the heels are slightly apart, and it's going to feel like the knees kiss each other, and that's what we want. And you can even do just a little bit of hug to the midline with the legs. Remember in the previous one, I had said we're going to let the pubic bone move first, so we're going to feel that pubic bone just drop down, and that's what's going to initiate the hinge. And the hands are welcome to come alongside the backs of the legs. Sometimes that really helps to keep the spine a little bit less involved in the motion. And then the other thing is you can monitor the knees themselves should not be bent once you arrive. I mean, they're not going to be locked out. You should have what I call a little bit of softness, or like a knee pit behind there, and then you can just trace back up. And that's what it's going to look like if you saw me from the front. I'm going to show it from the side. So you're going to need a wall. And I would suggest starting with yourself fairly close to the wall, especially if you're not comfortable with the butt traveling back, because it can be a little bit disconcerting for the first one, where is the wall? And if you find yourself like, where is the wall? You can always put your hands back there in transition if that helps. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. You can, like I say, you can leave the hands back there. I'll show it that way, but you just have the hands back there, and then you're just going to go until the butt bumps against the wall. Then you can take your hands and you can just travel down, make sure that the knees are not bent, and then you're just going to travel yourself back up. Now once you're comfortable with that distance, walk the feet forward a little bit. Same thing with the feet, big toes touch, heels apart. And again, if you need to touch the wall, do so. I don't want you to be afraid that you're going to fall backwards, which is why the wall is kind of nice. And you're just going to hinge. We've dropped the pubic bone, and we start to come forward. Letting the butt travel backwards is the object here of just kind of learning that feeling. So you can see as I get further away from the wall, then my butt can travel back further, and I start to come down even lower. But you can see that I still have a little bit of in curve here, a little bit of out curve at my T-spine, and a little bit of in curve at my cervical spine. So I haven't changed the shape of my spine. I've just hinged at my hip, and then when you come back up, you just draw back up. And as you get comfortable with that one, you can step the feet forward a little bit more. Every step forward is going to be a little bit more challenging. So you can drop the pubic bone down and start to sit back. And the spine is not the driver of this motion. The motion is coming from the hinge of the hips. So right about here, I feel like I need a little bit more hip hinge, so I'm going to drop my pubic bone down a little bit more, and that's going to let me continue on my journey. And then as I come down a little bit more, eventually I'll feel like my toes start to lift because I'm far away from the wall, and then I just lean them back down, like I say. And that's kind of the nice way of doing it on the wall, is that you know you're not going to fall over backwards, but you can get a feel of what that's like to do that action, and you know that you're okay. And so if you did it then, you would want to step away from the wall completely and just try to replicate that same feeling. The butt goes back. You would think, okay, the wall is back there. We know that the further down we're going to go, the further back we're going to send the butt, monitoring the backs of the legs, and then you just slide back up. So play with that one and see what that feels like. See if that helps you with the concept of letting the butt drift back behind the heels. The weight will start to lift out of the toes. That's good. We want that. We don't want to be in our toes. We want to be back into the heels, over the ankles. That's where our stability is. So play with it and just let me know if that helps kind of clarify that concept. And I hope you guys have a great day.